When you first start out teaching yourself technical skills, things can get pretty overwhelming pretty quickly. Just the words technical, code, and programming can seem intimidating and like you've got no idea where to start. And I completely get it. I've been there too. I've been teaching myself technical skills for years now, from all of my data analysis skills to teaching myself software product management. It's been a journey, and had I known about these mistakes before I started, I would have definitely been easier off, which is exactly why I want to share them with you today. The first mistake that I want to talk about is not being focused enough in my course selections. And if you only knew how many courses I've enrolled into online and not completed or not even started, the coin I've wasted. And it's not because these courses wouldn't have been useful. I'm sure all of them were great. It's just that I wasn't focused enough. I wasn't clear enough to myself what it was that I wanted to learn and why. Make sure you've defined the skills that you want to learn from these courses very specifically. That way you can save a lot of money and time from purchasing courses willy-nilly just because it has data analytics or whatever field you want to go into in the title. That way you also probably finish the courses that you actually buy because you know how you're going to be applying that skill set when you're finished in that course. Now, one thing I do want to point out is that this isn't necessarily the same thing as wanting to observe multiple courses in order to get multiple people's perspectives on the same topic, which is actually something that I do quite a bit because sometimes one person's explanation of a topic just doesn't click with my brain the same way as someone else's. It's more so course supplementation rather than just purchasing everything willy-nilly just because it's on the topic that I want to learn about. But I'm sure that you're thinking that sounds like it could get pretty expensive, and it can, but there are ways of doing this online that don't break the bank while also giving you options. Obviously, you can use a lot of free resources to supplement whatever course it is that you're taking, which is also a great way to do this. Personally, one of my favorites is the Coursera Plus subscription. I think it's about 50 quid per month, which I think in terms of online learning, if you're actively learning something, is quite reasonable. And you get access to over 3,000 courses with just that one subscription. And the subscription is pretty much the same price as if you were buying just one course. I think it's a great deal if you are like me and this is the type of learning that you want to do. I'll link it down below if you want to check it out. Obviously, if you want to save money and don't want to pay for that, plenty of free resources online. Just Google, or these days ask ChatGPT to find them for you. But Coursera Plus, definitely one of the best things online, I think, when it comes to online learning. Now, very related to this purchasing multiple courses type of discussion is the question that I probably get the most is, what is the best course to learn topic X? I'm gonna tell you straightforward, very clearly, the best course that you're going to take on any given topic is the one that you actually complete. There isn't really that much magic in which course you actually choose. A lot of these reputable course providers like Udemy, edX, Coursera have a great variety of courses on multiple different topics. They're from industry parties like universities or companies that know what the industry best practices are. You can go and read so many different reviews from like thousands of students that have taken these courses. None of this is about what is the best course. None of this is about that. You're procrastinating. That's honestly most of the time what's happening. Pick one. Just pick one and complete it. And always use multiple courses to supplement each other to learn more about the same topic, see if there's anything that you're missing. But most of the time, as long as you get the basics in order and you understand how whatever topic it is that you're learning actually functions as a big picture, and then kind of deep dive into each one of the sections of that bigger topic, that's how you learn. You don't need the #1 top course. You just need to complete a course and get started and move forward. Now, beyond this rant, however, something that has changed from the time that I created the How I Would Learn Data Analytics video on my channel. If you haven't checked it out, I'll link it in the info cards. Something that has changed since I taught myself is that right now there are so many specializations where all of this thinking about like, what do I need to learn, what course is the best, has been done for you. There are specializations on all of these course providers' websites, whether it's Coursera, whether it's edX. You don't have to do any of the thinking anymore, and it's fantastic. A couple that I would absolutely recommend I'll link down below. There are several from industry leaders like IBM or Google. Google literally just dropped the advanced data analytics specialization that follows the data analytics professional certificate. All of this, what did I do to my hair? Jeez. All of this thinking has been done for you. I look like a mad scientist with my hair all over the place because I'm ranting so much. It's fine. None of this thinking you actually need to do. If you want to learn data analytics, if you want to learn project management, just start with one of these specializations and get into the topic and then figure out what you need to learn in addition to what that specialization provided. Because these providers, they know what the industry needs. So why are you still here? Go learn something, okay? Maybe after you finish this video. Let's move on. The next thing that I want to talk about is the actual learning process. The third mistake that I made is not doing enough projects. The only way to both apply what you've learned and also showcase what you've learned to potential employers, whoever you wish to impress with these newfound skills that you've been developing, is to do projects. And while that might sound super intimidating at first, like, oh my god, no, like what if someone sees I suck? The thing about projects is no one needs to see them. No one needs to see them. You can create a private GitHub project that no one sees. You can do it on your local machine. No one needs to see it. No one knows you suck. You just need to do the projects in order to get the practice in. And one of the best ways that I've found that I can do this is during a course. Let's say I take a data science or data analytics specialization and they are building my Python programming skills during that specialization. Whenever I take notes on the course or do any of the exercises, I save the code file, and then when I'm doing or learning something else, I make a copy of said file. So I have the original, but I try and modify the original thing with whatever is the new thing that I learned. So adding on top of what I've already learned. And this way, not only am I just taking notes and learning like separate concepts, I'm already combining them. It's already technically kind of building into a mini project. I'm kind of starting to understand how all of the things that I learn actually work together. That's one tip that I would say is good for taking notes, because that way then doing an actual project doesn't feel so intimidating because you're used to combining the stuff that you learn. Even more importantly, I do want to say that everyone starts from zero. So this whole idea that, oh, if someone sees I suck, we all sucked at what we're good at now at some point in time. You were born, you didn't know how to walk. Someone who's now a software engineer didn't always know how to code. Did not come out of their mother that way. It's fine. Everyone's a beginner at something, and I think it takes a lot of courage to be a beginner at something. So think of it that way. By sucking now, but improving yourself, you're actually very brave. Now, one of my favorite things is the internet, and my fourth mistake was not taking full advantage of it, not reading other people's code, because it's everywhere. Especially when I was teaching myself data analytics skills for the very first time, I was completely new to SQL. I was completely new to any kind of analytics situation, honestly. I did not realize that there are resources like Stack Overflow, like Kaggle, GitHub, where people have put their code out there and I can just go and look at it. I can go and look at it and try and make sense of it, and that way learn more about how things work. Crazy, right? But that was a mistake that I really made, and I've learned from that, because especially when I started working in a job where I had to use SQL, it actually really helped me that I was able to Google how other people solve problems. And so don't underestimate this. When you learn a concept, go and actually check out what other people are doing with that same concept. Google examples. There are plenty of resources online that explain the same topic and actually give a lot of examples of how to use it. Try and make sense of those, try those for yourself, copy paste and play around with them. That way you're getting more exposure to the same topic and you learn a lot faster, and also you end up getting used to reading other people's code, which is also really important. Just one thing that I do want to mention now that we're talking about other people's code is if you are using a part of someone's project or someone else's code in your own projects that you put out into the world, give credit to the original author. It doesn't take anything away from your ability to write code or your project. In fact, I think it makes you look smart because you didn't have to develop all of it yourself, but you were also able to go and look at someone else's work and build on it, which is a workplace skill. In teams, what you do is someone else works on one thing, you might improve on that later, or you might build something related and connect it because it makes you look good. The last couple points that I really want to bring up are mistakes that I made regards to my mindset. And a couple shifts are actually really useful when you're learning technical skills. The first one being, do not be afraid to make mistakes. I've said this before, and I think everyone with some kind of perfectionist tendency should really learn how to program, because the amount of mistakes and errors that you are going to face is really going to kick some of that out of you very, very quickly. In me personally, I think the process of learning to code actually helped me understand that, you know what, every learning process is like this. It's not always as underlined and highlighted in red error messages as it is when you're trying to program. But this is every learning process, and every single time you're doing something new, you're gonna make mistakes, and that's totally fine. And when it comes to programming and a lot of technical things, people keep making mistakes. It doesn't matter if you have, you know, a PhD from an Ivy League school in computer science, or if you're just beginning to learn how to code, everyone needs to debug. Everyone needs to fix mistakes in their code all the time. So when you're learning a technical skill, take that as feedback. Not every skill that you're trying to learn is trying to teach you what you're doing wrong either. If you're thinking about it, error messages that you get when you're learning to program, for example, they're trying to tell you what you're doing wrong. They're trying to point you like, hey, line 49 over there, you messed up. Embrace it. Don't be afraid of it. It's actually a good thing. So yeah, that is something that I definitely needed to work on when I started learning technical skills, but I'm glad I did. I also really needed to work on shying away from difficult things and just not giving up so easily. And nothing says this as much as statistics for me. I hated statistics in high school, almost failed. In university, almost failed. And it took me ages to grasp the concepts because it just was a matter of finding the right angle that worked with my logic. I just needed to find the examples and teachers that spoke a language and used examples that I understood. Do you know when probability started making sense to me? In business school, when I was learning about risk management, portfolio risk management, financial risk management. A lot of people thought that was a very difficult topic. Easiest 5 out of 5 course that I've probably done. It was super interesting. It was so much fun. And it took me until after the course that I realized that I was doing probability calculations, which I had almost failed in high school. Crazy. But that is the realization that you actually need in order to pursue these topics. It's not because you're stupid. People that are probably dumber than you are have grasped this before you. You know, maybe it takes you longer. Maybe it takes you longer on this topic than any other topic, but it doesn't mean they can't learn it. You just need to find the right person to explain it, the right angle to look at it. At some point it'll click. Maybe there's something that you haven't learned yet that will help you actually understand this concept better. Come back to it. Don't give up. Persist. There are so many different resources and types of learning that you can do online. Maybe lectures like Coursera are for you. Maybe not. Maybe you want to try something like Brilliant, which is much more about problem solving and learning concepts through that, which can also be super helpful. Also linking down below in case you're interested in checking it out. It's a very different type of learning environment than some of these Coursera edX types of lecture-based platforms. So if that's what you think you'd like, look at that. They also do computer science, mathematics, data-related courses, all that kind of thing. So many different types of options. Don't give up. I believe in you. You can do this. Now, those were the 6 things that I wish I would have known about or known how to mitigate when I started teaching myself technical skills. But I'm hoping that this video was helpful to you and your learning journey. If it was, give this video a thumbs up and leave a comment down below on what was the most important learning in this video for you. And I hope to see you in my next video. Cheers.